Good evening all, Ads from Unity Trading Group here. Welcome to our Wednesday night update. Before I start, like the video if you can, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us out a lot. The more people that subscribe, the more likes we get, the more comments we get on these videos, the further it will reach. As always, you can find us at www.unitytradinggroup.com for your access to all the guides, all the knowledge that we've recorded and saved on there. And of course, you can join the Discord by pressing that big join Discord button just down the page. And if you haven't already, Trade Hacker by Unity Trading Group, it is a private group at the moment. Join if you like, and there will be some bits and pieces going on there in the next couple of days, weeks, and if you like, invite whoever you feel would benefit from being there. So without further ado, BTC USD. We did have a pretty decent discussion yesterday on what we think would probably happen. Yes, of course, there is the mixed feelings about if we're going to continue or not, and looking like we're probably going to have some more downside immediately for the next little bit, and I'll show you why. And I'll flick over to this chart in particular. Where are we? Let me see if I can find it. Maybe not, but that's all right. Don't worry about it. I'll redraw it in. So yesterday we did have a little bit of a look at this level of supply, and I will draw this in. I have put this on the Discord earlier today as well. That one there. And of course, we do have a level of demand down here somewhere that we are floating in between, which coincidentally is the same gap, same CME gap that we find ourselves just missing out on earlier this month and late last month. But the start of the show is this level of supply. And what I want to really point out is this wick that we got wicked off not long ago, actually, over the course of the last couple of days. And this is very substantial in my opinion, because it is a level of supply that is on a daily time frame, and it is on a pivot, and it was on that right shoulder that we did form, during this big formation that we had, within August, coming September. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next little bit. We're going to need some substantial volume to come and push through this, 11.6 up to 12K level. The reason why I bring this to fruition, bring this to light again after speaking about this yesterday, is because honestly, it's a daily time frame. It's the most respected time frame for BTC, bar 2-3 day and 1 week. The daily is one of the most looked at time frames in terms of market structure, in terms of TA and everything like that. That's why I'm bringing this to light. Not only do we have a daily level of supply that's being respected pretty much to the T, we have Steamroller on the daily giving us that oversold condition, just like it gave us up here. So up here, where before we had this run down from 11.9 all the way down to 9.7. So we are finding ourselves in the same situation here while still making a lower high. The next couple of days are going to be crucial. We're either going to start to descend towards some of these key Fibonacci retracement levels that I'll just put in here now. And obviously our 618 is the most respected level on this chart right now if we're taking in just this move. But honestly, we're going to probably see some more downage towards that 23.6 and even that 38.2 going off the TA that I'm seeing right in front of me. The TA on the daily is obviously the most respected. We have a daily level on a pivot point of supply, which we have respected so far. And not only that, some of our indicators, especially Steamroller, is giving us starting to give us that signal where we are getting towards that overbought condition and we're looking towards a pullback. If I bring it back down, so if I save this here, and if I bring it back down to the other chart that I've got on the 4-hour time frame, where we've got this level of supply being destroyed now, we have pushed through it and we have pulled back, and we are trending below this 61.8 Fibonacci retrace from swing high down to swing low. And it's going to be an interesting night, because if we can get some more volume into this over the course of this evening, and we push above this 618 and close confidently above it, and we haven't seemed to do that, within the last couple of hours today, that's what will really try and kick off some more further movements to the upside, and we can possibly retest that daily level of supply that we just spoke about. Now, this is going to be closely correlated to something else I'm going to have a look at soon, and it could be the reason why we're not seeing this run as far as we'd like. But however, there is some fundamental bits and pieces that are coming in, like some more stimulus overseas, and some other news in the US that could possibly push BTC higher and retest that level of supply, just as it did here. And it's probably a good idea now, if you haven't got it drawn in, to zoom out on the daily time frame and draw that level in there. If you want to nip it up just like that, for example, because we did retest it, just something like that, to really give us a good idea on how far or where BTC needs to go to really confirm an uptrend. So right now, if we break the 61.8, and I've drawn this daily level of supply in here now on this chart, we could possibly retest this 10.7 area. It's roughly 10.730. Sorry, excuse me, 11.730. Before giving us that confirmation that we might run up to that 12k level, and that corresponds with our 4-hour level of supply that ran across just the top here. So it's a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, in the way of supply levels at the moment, where we've got a daily level, a key daily level that we've tested and respected, and been violently pretty much smacked down from. Or do you look at the high quality 4-hour level that we've got here at 12k? So it's going to be nor here nor there, and it's a little bit hard to distinguish between which one we should be using. But at the moment, our daily level is respected quite nicely, and that'll be the one that I'm looking towards. You could even go as far as zooming this out on the daily time frame and extending this back up to the top, like I have on the previous chart, to really give you a decent zone to look at, and then you take into account that pivot point and that high quality 4-hour zone, within that daily supply level that we looked at before. And I'll go back to that chart to really demonstrate. If you wanted to, you could zoom out to the daily time frame. You could bring this upwards to take into account that 4-hour move also, and extend it up like that. So you get a decent area. It's still not too crazy in terms of size, where if you were taking positions here, it would be pretty easy, to negotiate a stop loss and stuff like that. However, it'll give you a better idea on market direction if you have this drawn in just like that. So from looking at 11.730 pretty much to about 12k, you're looking at a $300 swing on a daily time frame, but that gives you the best overview of the market at this current given point, I guess. And if we zoom into the 4-hour, it's quite apparent how that might be so. And it's not huge on the 4-hour either, so it's not too bad. However, if we do push through that, it'll be quite interesting to see if we do and create that high in market structure finally, to see us run like we could see it run all the way back up and make a high above 12.4. But not getting ahead of ourselves right now. We're just focused on this rejection right now on the 4-hour and the daily time frame, and to see what happens after this. And we've got that swing low to swing high Fibonacci level, where we've got this 23, 38, 50 and 61 levels to really look at if we start to descend and we don't get that volume coming into this market. So that concludes BTC. I'll move on to ETH. I'll just change watch lists here. ETH telling a little bit of a better narrative at the moment in the way of our supply levels, but a lot less volume admittedly, so it's a little bit easier to move this price. But we have been rejected off this level multiple times. We did speak about this last week, did speak about this yesterday and Monday, but we have been rejected multiple times off this level of supply. So if we conclude this evening and into Thursday and Friday not creating a higher high, this could be that lower high, this could be that lower low, and that market structure could change over the course of the next couple of days, and we could find ourselves, heading back to this 372 and 368 area. So it's going to be interesting over the next couple of days. In my current trading situation, like I said in the Discord, I've said this in the last couple of days, I've taken some profit at this level on my BTC trade, and I'm waiting to see what happens. If we do continue towards the downside, obviously I'll start to look for key levels and average into a position again. But if we do continue, I'll be selling more of that position that I'm in. And that's the way you've got to play it. When I say in the Discord, when I say on the videos, plan for both scenarios, that's what I mean, because that's what I'm doing. Planning for the scenario to the upside, where I will average out of that position that I've picked up lower. Or if we come back down, I'll be averaging into a position further to really look at that market structure and see if these demand levels and Fibonacci levels get respected. So that's what I mean by that. So not much more to say about Ethereum USD. Just waiting to see if we do create that lower high, or indeed continue and make that higher high. So we'll see over the next day or so. I'm hoping we get some sort of answer, by tomorrow morning Melbourne time. But going by this volume, it might be in the next couple of days, and this steamroller and these indicators might mellow out a little bit longer while we float around here, and even float around this 38.2 before we see some sort of substantial movement in this space. Moving on for our last point of market updates. Honestly, with the DXY, before I go on, it is a regulated market. This is not financial advice, just the ideas and opinions of Team UTG. However, going off the last couple of days, and I've been saying this over the last, every video that I've looked at the DXY, Steamroller is calling that this is ready to recover a little bit. We knew that we were probably we were going to be held up at this front run on this level of demand. Going off the level of Steamroller and how accurate it is on the regulated markets, and that's what we saw. We saw a blatant, I pointed out a blatant level that we could possibly get to, looking at market structure, liquidity to the left at 618, 93.51. Go back to the previous videos if you haven't watched them and have a look. But this level of liquidity was going to be quite significant, and that's where we got to. We're currently trending right on that 61.8. And of course, if we do see some more upwards momentum to the DXY, we could possibly test that 50 Fibonacci, where we've got a lot of liquidity sitting to the left-hand side here. So that's the point I'm looking towards, and hopefully we can hold this 61.8 over the course of this evening, and we might have another recovery for the DXY in the short term. When I say recovery, and the correlation that I was making apparent a moment ago was to BTC. If we do have more upside on the DXY, it could see BTC come down a little further, and we could kick off that movement down towards those levels, those key fib levels, and those levels of demand that we've been speaking about over the last little bit. So even if you don't trade the Forex market, just have a look at the DXY and keep it on your radar, because that is what BTC is hedged against. It's hedged against the US dollar, so it's very, very wise to keep the strength of the US dollar on your radar at all times as well. But just to conclude, if we're looking at the DXY, looking towards that area of interest at that 50 level, providing tonight, and coming into this liquidity at this evening, providing we can hold this 61.8, and look, probably will. Honestly, more than likely, some of these indicators are looking good. We have broken above the 50 for the RSI, and we are coming back down to retest that level. And Steamroller looking towards that upper region now, and just about to break through that median area there too. So not a bad play for the DXY, and I'm very interested to see what transpires over the course of this evening. So that concludes the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It helps us out a lot, and I'll see you in the Discord. We'll see you tomorrow night for our live session. Bye for now.